And we're live.
We are live.
Welcome. Welcome back to Young Dogs.
Yeah.
We wanted to take just a couple minutes here at the beginning of the podcast to just do a brief introduction. Thank you to everybody who's viewed our teaser. And we have had just an overwhelming response of positivity from that.
What a teaser it was.
It was a teaser. And I absolutely am thrilled with the number of people who have said, hey, I want to be on the Young Dogs.
Yeah. I was actually quite surprised with the messages that we got. Don't be afraid to comment on the actual video itself. But yeah, we did get a lot of personal messages requesting to be on the show.
And so if this is for you, feel free to like and subscribe, but also shoot us a comment.
Yeah.
And we are happy to respond to those. And we're here for everyone. You know, I had a slight comment kind of shot my way saying, hey, you know, this is, why would this be worthy? Why would I listen to this if it's a one-sided conversation? And that's not why we're here.
Yeah, this is not a one-sided conversation. I don't have anything against any member, you know, even with whatever side they're on.
And I think I want to broaden that a little bit. We, as the Young Dogs, right, as Sam and Curtis, young people coming up in the world of purebred dogs, breeding dogs, showing dogs, being competitive, being part of some of these greater community discussions. We're here for everyone, and that's not even just parent club members, right? I mean, we're here for the long haul.
Yeah, just because you're not a member doesn't mean you're not important to us.
Absolutely. Anyone who has an interest in purebred dogs, preserving them, breeding them, maybe getting involved in exhibiting, or even involved in rescue. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the rescue crisis. We read a statistic recently.
It's frightening.
It was terrifying.
Yes.
Is the word.
Yeah.
For that rescue statistic within just our own breed of dogs. And I'm sure this impacts other purebred dog breeds.
I think we're going to do probably an entire podcast just strictly designated to
the rescue crisis. There is a rescue crisis. That's just the word for it.
Yeah.
But today, right, per the episode title, War on the Homefront, our dog community, specifically our breed community, is combating we are experiencing a difficult issue.
Yes.
We are experiencing a difficult issue.
And I think the difficult issue is not what everybody thinks it is.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree with you, actually.
I think that, you know, a lot of people, you know, when you said we got a lot of comments, a lot of people were requesting to be on the show. I think they're targeting one specific item. And the real item that I'm trying to target is the toxicity.
Yeah. And just to let everybody know, it's a grab bag. I don't think it's just a single item in the shopping cart, so to speak. A single item in the dog show bag.
Yeah. The bag is full, though.
The bag is full.
That's for sure.
And we're here to unpack it.
Yep. One item at a time.
Yeah. But without further ado, in the teaser, we did state that we are going to try to confront a very difficult issue. And so I will provide some background on this issue. It's facing our dog community that we're deeply rooted in and a part of. And it's just a polarizing challenge. And I'm not going to get into the details of this challenge. If you want more information, there's a lot out there on social media. There's resources that have been sent out in emails from our parent organization. But really, the root problem, right, in the background is that this is something that's been being talked about for a couple years now. This is not a new thing that cropped up, but what did crop up recently was just some really passionate opinions. And the leadership involved in steering the issue maybe used some communication that was not very inclusive. And whether that was intentional or not, my perception is my reality. And Curtis, you know, your perception is your reality. So Curtis, you know, you might know, had the book thrown at him recently. And so I want him to share a little bit about what he learned reading the book.
Well, I won't bore everybody with, and now it wasn't a massive book. It is only 9 pages. But the book, to, you know, come clean, is the bylaws. So the bylaws that, I guess, govern, right, our organization and kind of teach us exactly what the rules are for our organization.
And so just to peel back the onion a little bit, every nonprofit organization, club, business, if you will, has a set of rules, right, that governs it. And particularly, I think you said one part of this spoke to you as you entered into this journey of reading and knowing how much Curtis loves school and he loves to study.
Obviously, school is not school's not my favorite thing.
What?
And I did say I was up till 1:30 reading and studying the bylaws.
So what that tells the audience is that Curtis must have been inspired by
Inspired.
whatever was told to him.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. The first hour was just trying to find the bylaws.
Okay. Well, we're going to fix that. So if you are interested in learning more about the bylaws of our parent club, we are going to include a link in the description.
Yeah, make it nice and easy for everybody.
So it's going to be easy. So don't fear. We are not throwing them at you.
Yeah.
We are educating and inspiring you to read them. You don't have to do it at 1:30 in the morning, but you could if that works for you.
Yeah. So, after reading all of the bylaws, and there's a bunch of that relate to different topics within our organization. But one I would like to hit on is, it's about promoting friendship and cooperation amongst breeders, right? And helping them for the betterment of the breed.
Okay.
Right. So that's one of the main things that I found, specifically towards we'll say, attack comments, right? The attack comments that came, because let's be honest, a lot of the comments that were on our Facebook page and other Facebook pages at that, they were not productive comments. They were attack comments.
Yeah, and I think what happens is, in leadership, when you're leading an organization, if you are having communication challenges, which really is the root cause of it's not the issue itself. The issue has to do with points and show dogs, and it is important. It is very important. It's supposed to, the intent behind both sides of this, I believe in my heart, is the betterment of the breed, right? And that's what everybody's trying to protect. But the communication surrounding the issue has not necessarily been that of friendship. And I don't think any one party is faultless. And so I'm a big fan of extreme ownership, something I call extreme ownership. I can include a link in the description to some great resources that are about extreme ownership and leadership if you're curious. But essentially, I owned the fact that I was feeling not heard. And so that's what sparked the Young Dogs and the podcast. Yeah. And that's me taking ownership. Now, if you, as a listener, would like to take some ownership of your own voice and opinions, we are going to provide a list of emails of leadership within the organization that you can write to now. I would expect, however, some communication back, right?
And I think that's a main issue. We were just talking the other day about having seeing some information that came across our desk, so to speak, about rescue. Right. And it was pretty alarming amount of information that we saw about our one of our local rescues here in Texas. Yeah. And
we are down in Texas, and we relocated from Virginia. And when we moved down to Texas, in Virginia, I always tell the story, there would be like the odd purebred dog and it would need a home and, somebody would kind of jump up and deal with it. In Texas, it is a different ballgame.
Yeah. And so we are going to get on another podcast and really try to hit home on
another episode,
strictly about rescue. But as an example, so the email came across and, that person told us that they sent a request to their leadership, right, to get some help or to get some insight on what they could do to help fix the problem. And they didn't hear back from them.
Yeah, and so even the perception of communication not going two ways, there's one-sided communication in my world, which is usually used for discipline, right? So one-sided communication, maybe you want to explain that a little bit? What one-sided communication means in our world that we came from professionally.
Absolutely. I probably have received more one-sided communication.
Oh, you've received one-sided communication, Curtis
I think
Brown.
you've probably dished out more one-sided communication.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I don't make it a habit of getting disciplined at work, actually.
Yeah, well...
Sounds like somebody did that.
It's not even about, let's not get too carried away. So obviously when receiving one-sided communication discipline, we'll say, it is where you are on one side of the room. You have somebody of higher leadership on the other side of the room, and you don't get to talk. You don't get to voice your opinion. You don't get to respond. You are told what is right, the only way that it's going to be fixed, and then you're told to leave.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing here.
And as somebody that's been trained in one-sided communication to administer it, not so much receive it, it is to be used in only certain circumstances. So those are extreme circumstances. Therefore, it is for a higher level of discipline. So when one-sided communication is coming out of a leadership organization and sort of the constituency is being told, or the community is being told, please stop talking, you don't get a say in this, that it's really sort of comes across as an extreme form of discipline. And when the community has really done nothing wrong to say, and it's really just sort of a heated issue, our recommendation is that the communication could be handled differently, much differently, in order to reach that state of friendship and cooperation that we have been charged to reach.
Yeah, the bylaws are not, it's not a request. Right? It's not, oh, you should do this. You should look at these and then do your best to follow them. No, the bylaws are put in there for a reason. And I think if we are going to push the bylaws on our young dogs, so to speak, I think that all young dogs and old dogs alike should maybe review the bylaws again and maybe start following them in their own aspects of life.
Yeah, and every guidance, I want to say, is always subject to interpretation. Like, there's no perfect guidance in anything, in business, in organizations. And so what I believe our community needs to understand is that there can be a gray area in interpreting some of these rules. And so just because my opinion is different than his doesn't mean it doesn't matter. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't get a say. That's not what it means to be part of a community.
Exactly.
So I think we've touched on an issue, right? One particular issue. Let's be fair. There are lots of issues, right? This is not the end all be all 30-minute first episode of a podcast.
Yeah.
But
I'm hoping for many of these.
But we can unpack one at a time, and we will, right? As promised. But I think what we did was we've highlighted that, yep, there's a problem. We've got an organization. We've got a challenge, a communication challenge maybe, and some other types of challenges facing us surrounding this issue, right? It's a communication issue and a culture issue wherein maybe we're not following or adhering to the principles that have been laid out before us by those who came before us, the old dogs, so to speak, the ones that were the founding members.
Yeah.
Not of the country, not of the founding members of the country, but the founding members of the. You get it, right?
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
they probably get it too.
They get it. No, you get it. But in the spirit of friendship and cooperation, what can be done by the members of the organization? Like, what can I do as a member today to be part of the change that I want to see?
Well, I think there's a couple ways, right? I think that you have some people who might be a little apprehensive still. This is episode 1 for us, so we're not terribly deep in the roots right now with this. So if you are apprehensive and you want to get your voice out there, then you can contact us privately. You can send us an email, which is going to be linked below. And you can comment on our page because our page is a safe space. And so if there is something you want us to talk about, do not be afraid to comment on the video itself. And if there's negative return on those comments,
we're open to it. We are absolutely open to
it.
I see negative comments as feedback, and sometimes it's instant feedback.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely okay. I am 100% okay with someone saying, I don't know. I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And that is perfectly fine. And the way I will conduct myself will be an example for how I expect everyone else to conduct themselves in those circumstances.
So there's a safe space here. So if you do not feel like emailing your leadership is the best option for you right now, we encourage you to use us as your through line to get your word out there, because that's why we're here. And so if you are feeling a little bit more, motivated to have your voice heard, we are going to have links to all of the emails and names of our leadership below, so it's easy for you to access, easier for you to find, and you can send up emails with your thoughts, concerns, and opinions directly to them, and hopefully get a response.
Yeah, and for me, hope is not a plan, though, right? And so I did send my opinions on this particular very serious, serious issue that's facing us, and I never really got a response, and I don't think it's intentional, but my perception is that, hey, did anybody even read that?
Yeah, do your thoughts matter?
Do my thoughts matter? Yeah, and so I would still encourage writing those emails to your leadership. However, if you do have something else to say, know that you can use this as a safe space, or speaking out about your own opinion is okay. And I'll just say it, right? Having your own opinion, no matter who you are, if you are a companion person, if you're a rescue person, if you're a performance person, if you're a show person, if you're just a person that's really interested in our breed and don't even have one, that's okay. You're allowed to have your opinions, your thoughts, and your feelings, and they are important. Anybody with an interest in purebred dogs in general, I don't care if it's if it's a Labrador or if it's in anything. If it's a purebred dog and you're supporting the preservation of that dog, then I think that's important. We do have one recommendation that I think has come out of the teaser, right? And that was we've had a few people want to come on the podcast and be interviewed.
Right. And I think for that, the only thing that we ask for right now is a little bit of patience.
A little bit of patience, and if that is going to take place, we want to make sure that communication is in the spirit of the culture we're promoting.
Exactly. And that's not using this podcast for your own political gain. We'll say.
This is also not a podcast that's a cage fight.
It is not.
This is not designed to be a cage fight. This is designed to be, culture where we can cooperate and we can communicate and we can disagree.
Yes.
Let's just say it. We can agree to disagree.
And you can disagree nicely. I know
Yeah.
it sounds weird, but you can get your point across even if you don't agree with somebody else in a positive manner.
Yeah. And that's all right. And if somebody does disagree with you and you really don't like their opinion, then we all have to be able to be big enough people to walk away and understand, at least try to understand where they're coming from.
Exactly.
And not penalize them, not, condemn them, not slander them.
Well, and that's one of the reasons, right? So if we're going to be the voice, right, you don't have to post on Facebook. You can send us messages. You can post on our page, and we will help you be that voice. And one of the reasons I was so for starting this is because of how aggressive the comments can get.
Yeah, and I think it turns into cyberbullying. And cyberbullying is very easy to do from behind perhaps a phone or a keyboard.
Absolutely.
But, like we're doing, right? I'm putting my face out there and, we're out here in the world saying, hey, we're open, like arms wide open. Let's all solve these problems together. And let's be transparent and just say, hey, this is where we're coming from. This is our perception. Our perception is that communication is not great.
Did you know that cyberbullying is actually in our bylaws? It talks about that within the Code of Ethics.
I'm glad that it talks about it because I think it happens.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be maybe just, maybe a little bit of this conversation is just accountability, right?
It is, totally.
I come from a world of accountability. And if you are going to conduct yourself that way, I'm going to just say, I don't condone cyberbullying. I especially don't condone it by leaders, right? And when I say leaders, I don't mean necessarily elected leaders. I mean people, a group of folks, but also folks that, have been around a long time, right? And folks that I expect a lot more from. I expect if you are a leader in our community, and again, not necessarily an elected leader, leaders can just be pillars of communities, right? Think of a tribe, an organization. If you are one of those leaders, that you are going to use your position for the purpose of friendship and cooperation, and
for the betterment of the breed.
For the betterment of the breed. And you are not going to use your position as a leader for your own personal gain or to promote your own lobbying or especially to cyberbullying.
And I think sometimes people forget, that they're in a position of leadership.
Yeah.
And they forget that they may be speaking on behalf of an entire organization and not just their own thoughts. Because when I was getting responses on our Facebook page, personal Facebook page, I felt, verbally attacked. I felt as though on my own personal page or on my wife's page, I couldn't comment because I was going to get attacked in some way via the comments, and that's really disheartening.
It absolutely is, and we'll get into fear in a later episode, but operating in a space of fear is not acceptable, and the perception, right? And someone could say, "Oh, well, Curtis is being overly sensitive," and you're a sensitive guy.
I am not.
You are. I think you're a sensitive guy. As we wrap up here, one idea that we've had, and we would like to hear your thoughts in the comments, is to maybe bring on as guests two people on opposite sides of this issue and see if they can have a conversation as gentlemen or ladies.
Are you guys ready for guests? That's the question.
Let us know.
Are you guys ready for guests? Do you just, for now, do you just want to hear us kind of talk, and we speak in code a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
A little bit, yeah.
And I think when you start bringing on guests, that code is going to disappear, and the true nitty gritty is going to come out. And so, do you guys want to see us really dive into the actual problems with the names
and the faces,
or do you guys want us to continue doing what we're doing right now? And I think in the long run, yes, eventually a lot of the names and stuff will come out of the woodwork, and like I said, I'm not here to slander any one person. I am simply asking for cooperation and friendship.
And communication. I'm here to ask for communication. I am a very transparent communicator when I lead, and I will always be the best follower I can be, but I really do expect transparent communication from leadership, for better or worse, right? And even if it's something I don't like, and lots of things go on today, that, maybe I don't like that, but I want to hear about it. I'd like to be informed. I'd like to be educated and not have to go seeking those answers from, social media, right? Like, that's not good.
Absolutely. So let us know.
Yeah. Let us know. Do you think that, we should maybe have some folks on here, to discuss some of these difficult issues? And I think we will.
Yeah.
I think we will. And, with that, please again, thank you again, everybody, for all your support of the Young Dogs. We are here for you. We are happy to be here. We're excited for the future of 2023 and the podcast and our first episode.
Yes.
And
2023.
2023. Like, subscribe, follow, and share. Share the message and be the change you want to see in purebred dogs. I'm Sam.
I'm Curtis.
And we're the Young Dogs.